Hello and welcome back, Commanders and Commanderettes. Chesty Puller here with another video on the Sector Breach General Set. This is probably going to be my last video on the General Set. Um, I've just learned a few things that make it go a little bit faster, so this is my speed run. I just use air on 1 and 2. It's pretty simple. Um, you don't even have to use your Maverick. You just use your helicopters. Um, I accidentally had it on Ruby there from my last number 3 base. So make sure your Ruby is off. You don't need mercs, you don't need missiles, you don't need anything like that. At the end of this video, I'll show you why this works, why you're not taking more damage since it's really just your Maverick and your Goose platoon. So you're kind of spreading out the damage between those two platoons. But there is damage mitigation on these helicopters. Now, my helicopters are not max level, okay? It would be much better if they were. And so the first thing I'm going to recommend is to get your light bringers to max level. I wanted to add that in here because a lot of times people don't know what's best. Well, my legendary choppers are just level 10, and I'm not struggling. I mean, I don't take any damage on them. It's enough damage mitigation for your choppers. Now, it'll get better when they get to 20. Okay, so I do intend on doing that next. But the first thing I think you want to do is get your light bringers to 20 because they are still taking a little bit of damage. Okay, so, and I think that we're getting towards the end of the use of the Lightbringers, probably based on what I've seen. The Ogre is going to replace the Lightbringer, but that doesn't mean that the Lightbringer is not going to still be somewhat useful because the Lightbringer does have um, damage mitigation, and if you can get your Lightbringer hero, Brother Luminous, up to his max level, he increases the damage mitigation on the Lightbringers. So there is no hero for the ogres yet. I don't think there's going to be because usually the heroes come out first, but we'll see. Um, so let's go check out the number 2 base. Again, it doesn't matter what platoon you bring. You're not going to use any ground. Just make sure it's an assault platoon. Otherwise, it doesn't allow you to attack the base. But you don't need anything specific in the platoon. You're just using your air. I have 5 choppers in one platoon, 5 choppers in another platoon, and then I also have the hero Kevin or Warlord Kevin in one of my platoons, and I wanted to keep him separate from my Maverick, so I put him in the Goose platoon. Um, that way, if I do take some damage on my Maverick, then I can still use Warlord Kevin and sort of spread the damage out. A lot of times I will only use Kevin and not any of the other legendary choppers. Um, so number 2 base, um, probably one of the harder ones um, out of the general set for ground. This one was hard to do with ground. I do have a video on it. And by the way, I am using, like I said, 10 um, legendary choppers and one Kevin, but you don't need to use 10. In one of my other videos, I had 8 choppers because that's all I had, and that worked out great. As a matter of fact, I think the less choppers you have, it might be better. And here's the trick. The further you spread the choppers out, the less damage you're going to take. it's working for me, so I'm only spreading them out halfway around the base. If you spread them out all the way around the base, clearly you're going to take less damage. So if you are having any problem with taking damage on your helicopters, spread them out further, and that should be the key. So number one and number two are very straightforward and very easy. No missiles, no mercenaries, nothing. Just the air, and that is consistently free repair. Here's the good news: we're not using air on the next one, so if you do take some damage on that base, then just go ahead and let it heal up. You're going to use ground now. I do use Kevin at the front, and I don't know that it's necessary. I just have done it because I'm using ground, and I just want to mitigate the damage as much as possible. So what I usually do, depending on where I deploy, I'll usually take out the go-go bar. This is a very low level go-go bar, so it's not necessary. I'm not going to take it out in this video. But if I deploy on that side, I'll take out the go-go bar. But I'm going to take out the defense lab. And that's basically all I'm doing with my Kevin. And you notice that Kevin didn't take any damage or anything. 99% of the time, he literally doesn't even take a scratch. Next, I do have Ruby off. I'm going to deploy all of my light bringers, and and then I'm going to deploy the Mercs, and then I'm going to turn on Ruby, and I'm only really going to put Brother Luminous on aggressive. Towards the end, if it looks like one of my tanks is getting hit, then I'll click on all of the light bringers and put them on aggressive. But keeping Brother Luminous on aggressive all by himself seems to work the best. And after this base, don't forget to rebuild your Mercs. The Mercs help in this base for sure. Whenever, if you forget to use the Mercs, you will take more damage. It'll probably still be free repair, but if you check your damage, you might be coming close to having to go back to your base. And I really don't like going back to my base. That's why I'm doing the general set right now, because it's actually faster and I get more points because I have no repair time, and it's just one base after another base after another base. Now I'm going to go find another level 3 base, and then I'll go back and build my Mercs, and then the number 1 and the 2 base, you just take one platoon. It doesn't matter what platoon goes there. And on my setup here, what I've done is I set it up for 2 light bringers, 1 light bringer, 2 light bringers, 1 light bringer, 2 light bringers, 1 light bringer. And all of my platoons that are numbered even have 1 light bringer, and all of my platoons that are numbered odd have 2 light bringers. So that's just the way that I did it. You also have room in there for one Spartan. You've got 200 space left over, so if you want to put a Spartan in there. But to be honest, the Spartans are dead, and they're going to take damage now. They've basically been nerfed into the ground. You might as well dig a hole for them and throw them in there, because there's not going to be much use for the Spartans anymore. There is still room for John, but not for the other Spartans. So this is why, if you want to take a look at this and pause this is why, because you have the flat damage reduction, and you have a 25% reduction, and then when you have the Kevin out, he does another 10% reduction to all legendary choppers, and also 10% additional damage that they will do. The more damage that they do, the less damage that you take because you kill your enemies faster. Um, and he'll have 2 companion legendary choppers when he gets up there. Mine, like I said, is just a level 10. And so, that's where you're at. We'll go ahead and take a look at the Lightbringers. I just got my Lightbringers to level 20. I do not have Brother Loomis to 20 yet, and I haven't even really started upgrading the Ogres. And what else? I did get all the workshop for the Ogres. That's very important. Make sure you get that. That would probably be the number one thing you want to do, because even a level 1 Ogre seems to be doing pretty good. I have tested it, and it takes more damage than the Lightbringers, so I'm not going to use it in this event until I get it higher. But you see, you get a massive damage reduction from Brother Loomis, and he does also give aura to all legendary Lightbringers, and when he gets to 20, his aura even increases from 10% to 15%. So that's how all that works. Hope it was helpful. You guys have a good one. Good luck on the event.